Hey friends, welcome back to Minimalist. On this channel, we talk about decluttering and organizing and living your best life. So today, if you are struggling with time management, overwhelm, anxiety, depression, not being able to manage your money, then welcome. You're here at the right place. These are all symptoms of ADHD, and while I would never diagnose myself or anyone else with it, I have every symptom in the book that if you go on WebMD, it's me. It's who I am. This is why decluttering and organizing was one, so extremely important to me, but also so extremely hard for me. Being constantly distracted by things around me led to me always feeling so overwhelmed, like I couldn't get one thing done at a time. It was so incredibly frustrating. So let's start with the first one, and this one is a huge game changer, and that is plan your day. When you wake up in the morning, and sometimes people do this at night as well, but for me, I like to do it in the morning. So I'll drop my daughter off at school, and then when I get home, I'll grab my coffee and we'll head upstairs and I'll start writing down in half an hour or 15 minutes or hour chunks exactly what I need to get accomplished in that time. If you are someone who easily loses track of time and starts doing the laundry and then starts vacuuming and then will dust something, then find something you need to fix, then you're here with me and we're in the right place. If you're like that, then really breaking down your time into what you absolutely need to do, your must-dos, is going to really help you manage your time. It also will give you a dopamine hit, that happy hit to your brain when you accomplish something, because you'll be able to check it off. Now, this sounds super easy, but it's actually so complicated. Often we overcomplicate everything, don't we? Like, you don't need to go buy a beautiful agenda. You don't need to find something that breaks it down by week. Find a piece of paper and start with that and see if it works for you. So often we have these lofty, amazing dreams, but it is keeping things as simple as possible that actually help us accomplish them. So writing down everything you want to get done, and I will do from the minute thing of, this is the time where I'm going to start the laundry. This is the time where I want to film a video, but this is the time that I'm going to have lunch. And during that lunch break, I'll be able to do other things that I want, whether it's getting on social media, writing back to you lovely people. I have scheduled it in so that I'm not just racing around all day, wasting my time. All right, friends, let's go on to number 2, which is another favorite of mine and something that has really helped me a lot, and that is turning down the noise. If you are somebody who constantly has to be either listening to the TV or listening to the radio or having a podcast, there is nothing wrong with that if you have it in a time where you've given yourself allotted freedom to do what you want. But the problem is when we are constantly on social media, when we are constantly listening, even if it's just to music, what I have found is that it's harder for me to hear myself think. When you go into the grocery store or out to eat, often you hear loud music. Now that's their way of trying to get you to eat faster and not stick around. And when we are constantly distracting ourselves, we're doing the same thing. We are getting ourselves to not be able to process what is going on in our brain. We are distracting ourselves. So what I have started doing is, in the car, when I'm dropping off my daughter and heading home, I do not listen to anything. I sit in silence. And now I know I'm distracted by the cars and I'm paying attention to the road, but there's nothing else in that car to distract me from what I'm doing. Also, when I get home, I put my phone away and I start that schedule of all the things that I want to get done and when I'm going to do them through the day. But turning down the noise as much as possible is going to give you a moment to actually process what you're dealing with, whether it's emotional or you're just feeling overwhelmed in your house. Use that time that you have, that valuable time, to turn down the noise and really start processing what you're going to do as your next step. How are you going to live a simpler life and declutter? What dreams do you have that you want to chase in this peaceful time? Turning down the noise is going to give you back your time, which you can fill with things that really matter to you. So turning down the noise goes easily along with number 3, which is to write it down. Whether you like journaling, whether you like to record yourself, whether you just want to do notes on your phone. So you have all these wonderful ideas going on through your brain, your dreams, your aspirations, how you want to envision your life. What is your why for minimizing your life? I want you to start writing them down. So often I'll leave a journal by my bed because I feel like often I do my best thinking when I'm getting ready to go to sleep. But also when I'm in the car and I've turned down the noise and I'm just thinking and processing what videos I want to do next or what I need to get done when I get home, I will turn on the video on the camera app on my phone. And now I'm sure there's tons of different ways of turning on recording free apps, but this one is already on my phone. So I'll just start recording myself talking and I'll play it back. Now, why this is so important to write it down, whether it's using that or using the notes app on your phone when you're out or bringing a small journal with you, it's because it takes all your information that's right here. And if you're like me, it's gonna go away pretty quickly. Once you've had that great idea, it's gonna slip away. As soon as the next thing comes. So writing it down takes it from in here and puts it down on paper where you actually are going to be able to look at it again. So these next two ideas are big game changers if you're somebody who's living in a overwhelmed and anxiety-filled home. But before we do that, if you've enjoyed learning about minimalism, then remember to hit that subscribe button. So number 4 is start making decisions by putting rules in place. Making things a game as much as humanly possible. So with number 4, when I started to really decide that I wanted to change my life and I wanted to be a minimalist and I knew that I had benefits coming in as I slowly decluttered, I decided that I was going to make this more into a game and less into work. So I played games like decluttering games where I would declutter for 20 minutes and try to find 50 items and see if I could do it. I would play games where I would have a box party, like the Minimalist did, and I bagged up all my personal possessions and only took out what I really wanted. It made me stretch my brain to know that I could actually live more peacefully and happier with less things. And number 5 is by far the biggest thing that changed in my life, and that is to practice your routines. Creating routines actually creates brain connections that will help you make the right choices over and over again. It's called neuroplasticity. It is where you kind of stretch your brain to think a certain way when you are doing something fun, like having a decluttering party, or when you are putting things in the same place over and over and over again. It's like it creates this pattern in your brain, and your brain loves patterns. When you create patterns in your brain that this is something that is good and beneficial, then you are going to be more likely, 9 times out of 10, to do that thing your brain thinks is going to be beneficial for you. Your brain is always trying to keep you alive, keeping you as healthy and content as possible. And so when you start things like creating a routine of when you come in the door, where am I going to put my keys? What place should I put my shoes in? Where am I going to hang my coat? One, it will create an environment when you walk in the door that's much more peaceful and easy, and you don't have to think about these things so hard. You won't have to run around looking for your purse anymore because these routines will become second nature. And it does take a little while, but not that long, not as long as you think. Creating homes, which I know is such a lofty term and people say this all the time, but creating homes as simple as I'm going to have a hook by the door. I'm going to have a hook near the door where I put my coat, and I'm going to have a basket where I put my shoes every time. It's amazing how easy routines can become when you really start practicing them over and over again and seeing that benefit. Now, it has become a routine also for my daughter and my husband, which is amazing because it makes our lives all a lot easier. What is something that is really causing you a lot of either conflict within yourself or within your home? Whether it's where you put your toothbrush or where you hang your coat, it doesn't really matter, but deal with those little spaces one at a time. Deal with those little places where you could have better time management and be less anxious. Those are going to give you huge benefits down the road. If you like learning about decluttering and minimizing, then I hope this very short video helped you out and you learned a few things. Remember to put a heart emoji below because we are all in this minimalist journey together and we are a community that loves to learn and help each other.